Alright, so we should be good to go here. Let's take a look at everything. It should be good to go. Let's check to see if I got a notification. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check.
Stop walking.
Alright, so hopefully you guys can hear everything well. Make sure that the mic is working well, hopefully. Let's go ahead and turn the mic down the decibels just by a little bit. And then the video capture, let's keep that there. Gameplay, actually the video capture, let's do the same. Alright, so hopefully we're good. I know I usually run into a lot of problems with the audio in my live stream, so.
This is how you walk, like in a truck.
And I don't know what that video is, so. I know I usually run into a lot of problems with the audio in my live stream, so.
This is how you walk, like in a truck.
And I don't know what that video is, so. So we got a lot of background noise that is coming in, so. Try to figure it out here. I want to make sure that we can keep this at a volume where if I'm talking at my normal volume, it's not going above the yellow where it sounds kind of crazy. So right here, we should be at a good volume. Let's give one more test here. It's not going above the yellow where it sounds kind of crazy. So right here, we should be at a good volume. Let's give one more test here. It's not going above the yellow where I think that's the best we're going to get here. I am in the works of potentially improving my mic at some point in the future. I would like to do it fairly soon, but at the moment we're still stuck with the mic that I have at the moment, which is the Blue Snowball, I do believe is what it is, but there's some other good ones I know people have that I would look to move to in the future. Probably within the next 6 months, by Christmas this upcoming Christmas, I would hope to have a new mic, something that could sound a little bit better for you guys. But here we are in the month of July, and I talked about it at the end of last episode, and I think I've talked about it for a couple of episodes now. The plan for today's episode is to go through the entire month of July, all the way until Tuesday, August 1st against the Chicago Cubs. Now, what the plan is with doing that is we're going to get through the MLB draft, which takes place on July 8th. Then we're going to take on the Homerun Derby on the 10th, which we don't have anybody in it, but we will watch the contestants. And then we have the All-Star game on the 11th. And then so there's a AA All-Star game there. If we have anybody in the AA or AAA, then we will player lock with them. I suppose that's what we could do. And then we'll get on to the trade deadline. So that is the plan for this episode. Something that we can do right off the bat is we can go to our team here and look at our depth chart. So right now, we're not a bad club at all. If you look at our team, we could be a lot worse. Now, you can see there are places where we are definitely slacking. A major place that I think we're slacking is center field. Right now, we have Nick Senzel out there, and he's got B potential. He can play all over the field, but is he really going to be an everyday player? I don't think so. I think he's a utility guy. We could potentially keep Senzel around to be our utility guy, but I just don't think that he has what it takes to do that, because if you look, his first year was his best year. He has not reached above 5 home runs since that season. He's only got 1 this year, and it's just not been good at all. If you go to, they have ISO in here. They do have ISO. So if you look at the ISO, it's terrible. There's some other runs created. I was wondering the other day if they had hard hit ball percentage, which I don't think that they do. hit by pitch. Yeah, so they don't have that. But yeah, he's just not been good. And then you go down here to shortstop, and that's another area where we just have not been good. Kevin Newman is our starter right now, but we do have the very exciting, intriguing all-star prospect, Ellie De La Cruz, coming up. And he's finally putting it all together, batting .246 this season at AAA. And I think that the plan is we will see him in September call-ups. That's when my plan to see Ellie De La Cruz is. He continues to improve. Let's check the audio on this one more time.
He continues to improve.
I hope that works out for us there. I mean, the audio streams current. So it's saying we need to be a little bit louder. The mic just is terrible. So when I record my videos, when I'm editing in post, it's fairly simple because I can go on and I can edit the audio to make sure that it doesn't sound grainy or anything like that. So it is time for probably a new mic, if I do say so myself, especially if you want to continue live streaming. This mic is just not the way to go. But I had to live stream this episode just because there's so much stuff going on in it, and I don't think I can do it justice by breaking it down into videos. So we can talk about our prospects all day long. You got Spencer Steer, who can hit very well against lefties. He's at third base. And you got Cam Collier, who will be going up the ranks. He's at 68 overall. And then over here, India, having a real good bounce-back year, in my opinion. Maybe not necessarily for, as a matter of fact, you kind of look at it, and the only thing that he really is doing a little bit better, I think, is he's hitting for more power. He's walking a lot more. The average is down, the on-base percentage is down, even the slug is down, the OPS is down. But you got to say the ISO is probably up, right? No. So it's actually kind of interesting. He's actually not having as good a year as he did last year either, which that doesn't make much sense to me. But he is playing well for us. And then right now we're so thin at first base that we have Luke Maley starting at first base, and this season he is batting 172. Yeah, not good. And then you got Joey Votto, who will be coming up on his last year of his deal. And those are the only. So we have a couple of pitchers down here. We got some guys in the bullpen who are also coming up on their last years of the deal. A lot of stuff. So we'll talk about it as we go on. But if you look towards the future, let's look at 2027 and look about where we kind of struggle to have talent. I would say that the talent probably struggles in the outfield, in first base. That's my opinion. Matt McClain can play left field. Do we want him playing there? I don't know. But I think outfield and first base are probably the two places I would want to go first. You also have pitching, where I think if we got a good starting pitcher, that could help us out a lot. Andrew Abbott's a guy I wanted to focus on in next episode, not necessarily this one. But he dominated at AA. He's finally going to get an opportunity at AAA. So it'd be interesting to see what his numbers are by the end of this stream. But he's a guy that I think has good potential for us, and he's probably our best pitching prospect at the moment. If you look at contracts here, not contracts, let's go to budget. There are a couple guys that are about to be free agents, and you can kind of assume they may be on the move. Will Myers is one of those guys. You look at his stats, he's batting .262, so his average is as good as it's been since 2020, and 2020 was a shortened season. So realistically, he's having one of the best contact hitting seasons of his big league career. He's got 18 doubles, which is really good, 6 triples, which is amazing, but only 6 home runs. So he's hitting for not a whole lot of power. He's walking more this season. He's actually having a really good season. And, when I initially sat down and kind of thought about Will Myers in a potential trade, I kind of wondered, am I going to be able to get how much am I going to be able to get in return? You look at his ISO, even though he's not hitting for power, let's just take 2020 out of the equation. He's having his best season since 2018. So it's weird because he's not hitting home runs, but he's hitting the ball well at the same time. Kurt Casale is another guy. He's probably not going to get traded just because he brings no trade value to anybody. 34 years old, catcher. Chad Pender, same thing with him. Kevin Newman, Probably not going to trade him, but at the same time, don't really have plans in the future with him. Luis Sessa could be a guy that we trade. 30 years old, 72 overall, see potential pitcher. He's more of a bullpen guy. If it was up to me, I think he's probably more of a bullpen guy. And then Luke Weaver, probably the better of the two pitchers, if I had to say. Could also be on the move. Then you got Nick Senzel, which is probably not leaving. Hunter Strickland, Daniel Norris. Buck Farmer is a guy who has had a really good season this year. If he continues to keep it up, he'll be on the move for sure. Austin Romine. Speaking of Daniel Norris here, he's not going to be on the move. He's a guy that I actually want to keep in the bullpen for next season. Austin Romine, Luke Maley, you see. And you got Lucas Sims, a year arbitration coming up. TJ Antone. He's a guy that I think we could potentially move on from. 29 years old. Lucas Sims is 28 years old. I think you could get a lot in return for him because he's a guy who, unfortunately, has been injured a lot in his career. He only has pitched a total of 118 innings. But when he does pitch, he's got a 2.88 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. He's really good when he does pitch. So I think he brings a lot of value to a team potentially. This is the best season that we've gotten out of him as a Cincinnati Red, and I just don't think that we have a future with him. A guy that's, like I said, is injured a lot. Speaking of injuries, I wanted to show you the slider injuries here. These are the only sliders that I have changed. Gameplay injury frequency, which I still have only seen one, I think, was Jason Bossler. Simulator injury frequency, you'll probably see that here. And then trade frequency, we got that down because I don't think we had any crazy trades recently. Yeah, so we've only had a total of 3 trades. They've been some crazy trades, but like Stephen Kwan going to the White Sox for Lucas Giolito. When do teams trade within division? I just thought about it. The Cardinals and Brewers did it as well. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. If you want to have if MLB The Show wants to have crazy trades, that's fine. But I think they need to find a way to make it a little more realistic here. So we're looking like we got audio still a little low, which is a little frustrating. We'll keep it like this and see if it keeps popping up. So one thing I do want to do before we get into our last scouting and the draft is I want to go through our statistics here, our player statistics. You look at us, we finally have somebody with 10 home runs, Tyler Stevenson with 10 homers on the season, so that's good. He also does not lead the team in hits, Will Myers does, so that's interesting. RBIs, Will Myers, stolen bases. Joey Votto leads the team in stolen bases. Joey Votto leads the team in stolen bases. Batting average, Jake Fraley is playing really good. He's on the IR for 1 to 6 more days. He's going to be on the team next year. Initially, I had thought, do we potentially trade him? But he can hit righties so well. He's on the team next year no matter what. Tyler Stevenson. And then Jason Foster when he gets back, maybe. And Nick Solak when he gets back. On base percentage, Tyler Stevenson is doing his thing. He's getting on base. Highest slugging on the team. Highest OPS. And Votto is actually walking the most, which is something that Votto could do. Striking out Jose Barrero, which he is going to be done fairly soon for the squad. 18 doubles for Stevenson, 18 for Myers. 6 triples for Myers. Let's see. Who's leading the team in hit by pitch? Jonathan India. Okay. Fielding percentage. Our best fielder is Tyler Stevenson. Joey Votto hasn't really been out there that much, along with Kirk Casale. Votto has been playing DH pretty much all season long. And then who leads the team on WAR? Tyler Stevenson. So let's think about some negative WAR players who I like, but probably it's just an awkward situation with them. TJ Friedel's one of them. I really like Friedel, but he's at that point now where he's got to try and figure it out because he's gotten worse for us. I like him a lot. I think he's a guy that could start for us in any position in the outfield. Stuart Fairchild is another guy at 27 years old who I like, but probably not going to be on the big league roster next year. And India has really struggled. Will Benson, we've had him up at the big league level pretty much all season. He hasn't played bad when he's been up, but negative WAR. Joey Votto with a positive WAR. So pitchers here, we got strikeouts, Hunter Green with 102. Who leads the team in ERA? Buck Farmer. And you got TJ Antone shortly after that. So what's interesting to me is that our worst pitcher is probably our best overall rated pitcher, is Alexis Diaz. He has had it rough this season. 21 saves, 6 blown saves. So, and then whip, Lucas Sims really killing it in that aspect. Graham Ashcraft with a 1.33 whip, which is really good. Game started. Let's take a look at who has the most quality starts. It's Ashcraft and Hunter Green. We've had one complete game, and it was a shutout, and then 6 blown saves for Alexis Diaz. Hits allowed, home runs allowed. Lodolo does tend to give up the home run ball a little more than we would like, that's for sure. And his WAR is actually negative at the moment. Weaver's WAR is a 1.4. So if that tells you anything about Luke Weaver and his potential trade value, it's looking pretty good. Luis Sessa even a 0.3 you see here. So man, we gotta get Lodolo. He's the only pitcher that we have with negative WAR, and he might. He has our highest FIP as well. Lowest FIP is Luke Weaver. So yeah, this guy is good. Luke Weaver has pitched really well this season. He will probably be traded. If I just gotta be honest with you, he'll probably be traded here. All right, so that's all I wanted to look at there. So team stats, I guess we can look at real quick. Batting average, we are 27th. Runs, we are surprisingly tied for 24th. Hits, we are 29th, just in front of the Seattle Mariners. Doubles, I feel like we tend to get a lot of doubles, 22 doubles. Triples, we got one dude that has 6, so if that tells you anything. We're tied for 7th with 18. Home runs, we're probably dead last. We only have 60 homers on the season. Just 2 in front of the Nationals. Just really terrible. Just not good. RBIs, stolen bases, I feel like we don't steal that much, but I feel like nobody really steals that much. Caught stealing, base on balls, 3rd. So we're actually 3rd with walks. Lotto's walking a lot. Strikeouts, I don't think we strike out that much. At least when I play, we don't really strike out. 17th. Errors. So we make a lot of errors. Fielding percentage, dead last. We're one of the worst defensive teams. So does that make a big deal is probably what I'm wondering. ERA, 26th. Complete games. Some teams have 0. We have 1. And then let's look at runs allowed. 389 is what we've allowed. So I think now we can go ahead and get this started. I was kind of procrastinating a little bit, but we're 18 minutes in. We've got to get started here. All right. Today is the day to set up scouting assignments. Luis Sessa was on the mound. We lose 2-0 against the San Diego Padres. We're not going to look at the box score there. And then we usually get some stuff like this that pops up just about once a week. At this point, I get it. We're looking at the contracts here. How much longer will David Bell be our manager? Something to think about, too. Let's look at scouting. Let's try to make this quick. I'm going to try and go through everything here. And let's look here. We got Brian Hurt, who we're at 85% on here. And he looks to have real good contact and real good vision. But outside of the contact numbers, he hits for very little power. Has decent fielding stats. He's a guy that I think 43% interest, kind of not that good. He's a guy I might be interested in checking out. Charles Boyd, the closing pitcher. He's a guy who I think he's not ranked. We could get this guy in the later rounds, and he could be a good reliever for us in the future. 21 years old, so it might take a little while to get him up there, but we could get him. And then you got Ellis Patton, a starting pitcher. Another guy that I think could be a selection later on, but he is injured, so you probably don't want to take him. So let's go ahead and cancel this scouting assignment. Brian Hurt, do we go after him for one more week and see what he's looking like there? Let's scout a prospect. We got to make sure we're picking the one that has better position players. So we will talk about everything once we get to the actual draft about who I like and everything like that. So let's go to team rank here. Starting pitchers, don't want to go for pitchers right now, but we do have these catchers here who we scouted one of them. We scouted Antonio Estrada here. He's 6'2", 224 out of Venezuela, bats right-handed. I think that I definitely like what he brings to the table with What would be really cool is if you could find like a catcher who fits that MJ Melendez type of build. Now we don't have a lot of catchers here. We could do this. So yeah, we don't have a lot of catchers here, but if we could find a catcher that fits that MJ Melendez build, where he's got some pop and he's got some speed, I would be interested in trying to scout him. But unfortunately, it does not look like we're gonna get that. Yeah, so we're not gonna get that build. Felipe Campaneris is a guy that I do want to scout some more because I think I gave up on him fairly early. He could be a very good hitter. So we're going to put him on there, and we're going to get him. I don't think that we can actually get him fully scouted, which is a little unfortunate. But I think that we could find out a lot. And then let's go scout prospects. Do we want to go look at a... there's a lot of places that we could go looking for a prospect here. Do we want to go starting pitcher, or do we feel comfortable on the pitchers that we've scouted up to this point? We got a lot of guys that we know a lot about. I think we're good there. Catchers, no. Second baseman, Eli Almanzar here. Pretty well-rounded guy, I think. At second base, 6'1", 191, 18 years old. Let's go ahead and try and scout Eli Almanzar here. And I don't think that anywhere we put him, we can get any better scouting. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it just like this here. And once we get to the draft and we select our draft board, we'll kind of talk about each prospect and how we're liking them. Do we want to look at Brian Hurt any more than we have? Because it's not going to matter if we don't. Let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and let's finalize our weekly scouting plan. That way we can keep the ball rolling here and we can get to July 8th and get this draft going. So let's go ahead and continue sending. TJ Hopkins no longer injured. We won this one 6-1, and look who was on the mound, Luke Weaver. I'm only looking at this because it is Weaver. Barrero with 2 hits, Stevenson with 2, and India with 2. India with a homer as well. Luke Weaver pitched very well. This is a guy who I think is going to be on his way out, unfortunately, because he's pitching very well. Here we are in a critical moment. We're going to simulate to the end here. We defeat the Nationals 7-5, so we're 2 in a row at this point. Then we lose 2-7, so that was with Lodolo on the mound. And once again, it feels like Lodolo, 2 2/3, 7 earned runs, 7 walks, only 2 strikeouts. Is it time to maybe send Lodolo down and give him a little bit of time? There's no way. Potential 80 overall, there's no way we can do that. So, never mind that. Looking at the top prospects, Ellie De La Cruz is number 2 still. Andrew Painter is number 1. He has not been called up yet, so I'm sure that will change once he does. And then you go down, you got Collier, you got Noelvi Marte, Edwin Arroyo, and you might even have one more on here. Chase Petty is on here. So it's interesting Petty's on here. And Andrew Abbott is not. So Abbott had his first start at AAA. He struggled, unfortunately. Justin Dunn's another guy that I think next year could be competing for a starting position in the starting rotation. So let's get back to simulating here. TJ Hopkins gets hurt again, be out for a couple of days. Keep him active here. Joey Votto will be out for a few days. Let's go ahead and keep him active. And we get shut out 7-0. Not good, so we've lost 2 in a row now. Critical situation. And the Nationals defeat us 2-1. So we have now lost 3 games in a row. The match just called up Taylor McGill. Any more trades? Yes, we have a couple of trades here. Cardinals have acquired Alex Verdugo from the Red Sox for Miles Michaelis. So they get their Jordan Walker replacement, which is still crazy to me. Pirates acquire Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers for Tamar Johnson. So 2 trades there. I want to just take a look at our lineup here because I want to make sure that Votto is getting his playing time. We'll have to adjust the lineup when he is healthy. But we're going to simulate one more day here, and then it will be go time for the MLB draft. Sorry, I got it in my nose. Okay, so before that, we have 26 men on our active roster. Who do we go ahead and send down here? I think we go Will Benson. Just because, and then is there anybody here that, like Alan Serto, send him back down to AA? Because we have outfield depth, so I'm not really worried about that. And then put Will Benson out in center. So Ellie De La Cruz up to 253 average now. Encarnacion and Strand struggling. Austin Hendrick has slowed down from the episode that I missed with him. He has slowed down just a little bit on a cold streak. And Matt McLean's not playing too bad at all. Would like that average to go up just a little bit. All right, so now we should be good. Let's simulate this game. And today is the All-Star Futures game. We have a player that's in the All-Stars Future game. And today is also the draft. So it's actually, who do we have playing in this game? So I want to make sure we don't miss the draft. Today is draft day. So if we go view organizational games, and we play this game, is there any? Okay, so we can player lock with Ellie De La Cruz here. So that's what we'll do. We'll get a player lock with Ellie De La Cruz. This is all about meeting and learning all of our players here. Andrew Painter on a mound for the NL All-Stars Futures, and the AL Futures is Daniel Espino. So after this, we will get into the MLB draft. Hopefully the audio isn't too bad. In the future, like I said, the audio has been shaky, in live streams at least. So Espino on the mound, and here's Ellie De La Cruz, who we went to watch him play at the AAA level earlier on in the series, and he just wasn't ready. If he had have shown us something in that game, he probably would be up at the big league level at this point. But he didn't show us anything that was, worth me being like, all right, it's time to bring this guy up. So the trick with De La Cruz is you got to be patient with him. He's a guy who I think patience is a key for him. His vision is very low. As you know, if anybody knows about De La Cruz in real life, which I'm sure a lot of you do, he is a guy who swings and misses a lot. So the vision rating is pretty important for him. This is going to get a little bit bright in here. Missing on the slider. The slider was hanging on. We were just early on that. So 3-2, nobody on. I'm just going to go normal swing here. And we get struck out. So, unfortunately, that is De La Cruz's first at bat. I'm going to crack this window. a little bit. So Andrew Pankert on the mound, the number one prospect in baseball, 2.69 ERA at the AAA level. And it's Tyler Soderstrom. So if you guys watch Mr. Hurricane's A's franchise, you guys would know about Soderstrom. 2 outs here in the first inning. De La Cruz going to show off the range? No. Third baseman dives in front of him, so he can't make the play. So here's Brooks Lee now, bottom 2. I think he is a Houston Astros prospect. Trying to turn 2 here with De La Cruz. Flip on the second, and on the first, Brooks Lee grounds into the double play. I think these future games are really fun. I think that if we ever got like a starting pitcher in it, I think it'd be really fun to control that. Just because I think that there's a lot of good talent out here. This is kind of your first test of, all right, what's it going to look like before you get to the big leagues? This one's on the ground over to De La Cruz, and he's on to first with the double play. The 3-6-3 double play for the NL Futures squad. Here's De La Cruz coming up with his second at-bat. 10 stolen bases on the season for him. You know, I think he's a guy that you just wait for him to get a hold of one because it's going to be exciting when he starts to do that. And that's not how you get a hold of one. It's very bad with De La Cruz with his vision. The vision rating, I think, has a lot to do with how hard you hit the ball. I don't know. It's really weird, though, because every time that I've played with him, I just can't hit the ball. I'm 2 in front or I'm 2 behind on too many things. Another double play opportunity. This would be the third of the day, and we got it. So, double play to end the inning. Heston Kierstad grounds into the double play. Here's De La Cruz. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Probably at risk of being subbed out for somebody else who wants to show their potential. So, let's see. There we go. That's exactly what you want to do. And this one's off the wall. We're going to see the speed by De La Cruz. He is into third with a triple. Elly De La Cruz with a big-time hit. 103 off the bat, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. You wait for him to get a hold of one because his pop off the bat is so well. If we're at Great American Ballpark, he's hitting a home run there. Triple, you get to see the speed, you get to see the power. You've been able to see the fielding in this game. I mean, this guy all around is a very, very good baseball player. So 3-2 count here for Matt Mervis. He's 1 for 2 on the day, and he's going to hit this one. It's a shortstop, and he will be out. So the lead is still 1-0 for the NL squad. Jackson Holliday, 1 for 1 on the day. Anthony Volpe also batting in the leadoff spot for the AL squad. Speaking of him, here he is. 1 away. Runner on first. Is that Holliday on first? Can we see our 4th double play? I think we're going to. What a play by De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz with a big-time play defensively. Watch the throw here by De La Cruz. What an athletic play. So I think De La Cruz, he probably will be called up in September. And I think that from that point on, I don't think we see him go back down to the AAA level, just because I think he is so exciting that let's get him up to the big league level here. Let's send a guy like Barrero down, and let's start playing with this young squad. So De La Cruz doesn't have as much pop from the right side of the plate, but he has the same amount of contact, 60 contact versus lefties. Swing and miss. That's a pitch right there you probably want to let go. So 1-1 count now. 2 away in the 8th inning. And he gets hit by pitch, so not a bad day for Elly De La Cruz. Reaches base for the 2nd time today with 1 strikeout, something that he's trying to improve upon. And is this one going to drop? No, it's not going to. So, looks like we're going to drop this futures game. It's 4-2 unless we can come back somehow. And we cannot. So the American League futures are the ones that are going to win the futures game. They were 1 for 3 on the day, so I'm very impressed with De La Cruz's performance in this game with a triple. Really good. So let's exit that. Had a little bit of fun playing with De La Cruz. Probably didn't expect to play with him. He might even still be in the AAA All-Star game, so that would be fun. All right. So we're still exactly where we want to be for the draft. Last thing we're going to check is the standings. We were finally last place in the NL Central as well. Last thing I wanted to check was All-Star voting here. Probably not going to get anybody from our squad here. Nelson Lamet looking to be an All-Star. Any pitchers? TJ Antone could potentially be an All-Star for us. Buck Farmer potentially. Farmer's played really good in my opinion. Definitely not going to be Alexis Diaz. Catcher, Stevenson probably is our best chance to be an All-Star. He just doesn't hit home runs that well. Has good average though. Austin Barnes with a 307 average though. First baseman, nope. Second baseman, definitely not going to see that. Luis Arraez, only batting 269 here in the game. It's kind of interesting. Third base, nope. Shortstop, nope. Left field, no. Center field, no. And right field, no. Will Myers could have had a chance if he hit more home runs. So only a couple players with even a chance. So here we go. Let's go ahead and advance to the draft. Ryan Ray no longer injured. Today is the 2023 first-year player draft. What would you like to do? Let's go to the draft, baby. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add our prospects to the board. This is where it gets interesting because what do we want to do here? We want to go all. Do we want to go team rank? I think we'll probably go team rank. Marco Bautista is a guy who we have as the #1 prospect, but with that being said, I don't think he has any power. His vision is actually lower than you would actually like. And then defensively, he doesn't have great fielding. His speed is good, so he's going to be able to steal bases for you. But the only thing he can really do is hit for a little bit of contact. So he's kind of a risky prospect, in my opinion. 5'8", 174 out of Cuba. He would not be my #1. My #1 prospect on the board would be first baseman Felipe Beltran, who you may be thinking 78 to 90 potential is not that good. The reason it's like that is because his fielding is probably not as good as you would like it to be. Could actually probably be one of the worst fielders that we could potentially draft. But with that being said, he's also has potential to be one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, look at his hitting stats for the future. He could be one of the best hitters in baseball. So I don't think you can pass up on this guy. If he's available, we got to take him. So Felipe Beltran will be the first guy that we add to our draft queue. From there, I think that our second option would probably be Marco Bautista. So let's go ahead and add him to the draft queue. From there, I think there's one other guy that I think I really like, and that is Brent Black. I like Brent Black because of his ability to not walk batters and not allow hits. That's what he strives to be good at, and that's what he's good at. And he's healthy as well. So I'm going to put Brent Black on there. And then from there, we can start looking. There's Ray Aaron here. I think he's a pretty good pitching prospect. I like Corey Finnegan just a little bit more. Then I like Ray Aaron. Manuel Caraval, I still never found out how to say that name. Here's Jim Mullen as well. One other pitcher I wanted to show you guys. He looks really good. Gives up the home run ball and maybe gives up too many hits. But we'll go ahead and add Jim Mullen to our board as well. And then I don't think we can add Manuel or whatever to the board. Elite defense, but he is not going to hit at all. I can't. I just can't bring myself to like really like this guy. So let's make sure we got everybody. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then here's Terrence Ramirez, another guy that I really like, but I think that he could be dangerous because he could potentially walk a lot of batters. I do like him a lot though. Then you got Mario Villanueva. Starting pitcher, actually don't have him scouted all the way, but I think he could be good. I think if he was available, if he went, he'd be a guy that I could think about. So even Jack Wright here. I mean, 18 years old. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna add Jack Wright to the board as well. You got Robert McLean was another guy that I was interested in, only 50% scouted, but that walks per 9 is something I'm not gonna add him to the list for. Then you also got Devin Naylor was another guy who seems to be very well rounded. We would have to scout him all the way if we really wanted to know. So let's go ahead and just add him to the draft queue. Then you got Ivan Diaz, another guy who, we could add a bunch of people if we wanted to. Thomas Wolf's a guy that I did like, those guys. Brandon Mayberry, not so much. He has power, contact. I mean, I don't think he's a bad prospect. You go ahead and add him. Here is Garrett Albert. Look at that potential. Very tight range for him. He's a starting pitcher. I like it. I like what he's working with. Here's Brian Hurt. He's a guy that we know that has good contact. I'm going to go ahead and add him. Almanzar, we found out that he's pretty average at the moment. We don't have much more information on him. So I'm going to pass for now. Here's Ellis Patton. It's a wide range for his position. I don't know. Here's Jose Manzanillo. He looks like could be a good pitching prospect. So let's go ahead and add him. Sean Cortez, another guy also looks pretty well rounded. Let's leave him off the board for right now. Here's Felipe Campaneris. He could be a very good contact hitter. If we have to go pitcher in the first pick, I think he would be our second pick. So therefore, we're going to add Felipe Campaneris. The big thing is his potential. We don't know what that looks like, but we know he's going to be able to have good contact. Not so much great power, but he'll have good vision. And then fielding, he's not the greatest fielder. But I do want to add him. Grady Park's a starting pitcher. I like what he adds. Luis Schultz, Darrell Reese. Here's Adam Bird, who comes in as the 4th best prospect. Doesn't really look that way. Manuel Bautista here. Henry Sanchez was a guy that we were looking at early, and then we kind of stopped looking at him just because we realized, he's not that good. Charlie Cruz, a starting pitcher. Oh, yeah, this is a guy we could potentially get a steal on here. I do like that. Jose Feliz, third baseman. He's a guy that's got good power. Let's go ahead and add him. Aiden Mathiasen. Let's go ahead and add him to the board. And Richie Conrad, right fielder. Really good contact hitter. Really, actually, a guy who I think that his draft rank is 16th. I don't think he would be available. And you got Jeff Christensen, who is actually a pretty well-rounded hitter, and he can play everywhere. If he was available, I think he's a guy we take. He could be a utility guy in the future. Alex Perez here. No need to really add these guys right now because we will find out. Antonio Estrada, though, I do want to add because I could take him with our 3rd round pick. And that's the top 100. So there we go. Here is our board. We have, how many players do we have added to the board? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 23 players added to the board. So with them all added, this is the moment we've all been waiting here. We're 44 minutes into this thing. We got to get it going. Let's go to the 2023 MLB draft and see, can we pick our guy or are we going to be stuck with a player that we don't necessarily want? So the first 6 picks of the draft have been set via the new MLB draft lottery. The lottery participants were all teams that did not qualify for last year's postseason. Here we go. Throughout the draft, the live ticker displays important information like the current round, who is currently on the clock, and which team is up next. When your team is on the clock, you have 4 minutes to draft a prospect. All other teams will have 10 seconds to make their pick. Consider bonus demands and interest levels of prospects when making selections. Your goal is to select the best talent available, but also stay within your bonus allotment when it comes time to sign your draft picks afterwards. If you run out of time, that's when the draft queue will come into effect. So, if at any point you want to speed up the draft, press start, send your next pick, or send to the rest of this draft. So, with that being said, let's start this 2023 MLB draft. With the first pick in the 2023 MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select starting pitcher, I think is who it is. I believe, yes, the starting pitcher with the beard, Jim Mullen. We had him 3 on our board, so our guys are still there. So Jim Mullen goes number 1 overall in the draft. The number 2 pick in the 2023 MLB draft is Corey Finnegan. So he was a guy that I really liked. I think it is Finnegan, yeah. So Corey Finnegan goes number 2 overall. I really liked him. Good pitching prospect. The number 3 pick, which the last one we'll see something like this, is going to be Detroit Tigers selecting Adam Bird, I think is who that is. Yeah, yikes. I think they might have messed up on that one. We'll have to see at the end, but Adam Bird is a guy that I would not have taken unless it was like a 3rd round pick. So there we go. We got the Rangers on the board. If you check on the left side, you can see who they take. Hopefully they don't take a guy that we want, and they take Ray Aaron. So he is a pitching prospect that I did like. I don't think Brett Black was the guy that I really liked. So we're going to get somebody we want here. Let's just see. Brett Black goes. So he's the pitching prospect that I really liked. Who do the A's go with? Because whoever they go with, we're going to go with probably the opposite. Do they go with Felipe Beltran or Marco Bautista? They go with Felipe Beltran. So that really sucks. So now you have to think, do we want Marco Bautista, a guy who we've seen him a lot, and I can't believe they went Beltran there. The A's take our guy. That was the guy that I wanted. I think here you got to either go Terrence Ramirez, who you know is going to struggle with the walk per 9. He is healthy with that 4.6 signing bonus that he wants. You got Mario Villanueva, who we don't know enough about. Jack Wright, who we don't know enough about. Thomas Wolfe, who we're 100% on, but I don't think you go with him. I think in this situation, you got to go with Bautista. Even though he opted out of his doctor exam, you have to go with the guy who you have on your board ranked as the number 1 prospect in the draft. I think that it would be foolish of us not to do it. His potential could be very high. Now, the one thing is like I said, he lacks power, but I think the contact has potential to be very elite. The vision would have to improve, and he's got real good speed. We are not going to see this guy in year 1. In year 2. We're not probably even going to see him in year 3. But he is a guy who we've talked a lot about, and I think it's time to make Marco Bautista a Cincinnati Red. Don't know how I feel about it yet. We will have to see and know what his final ratings are looking like, but I'm happy with getting him. I think he was a guy that all along I kind of really wanted. It was either him or Felipe Beltran. So we get Marco Bautista. Let's keep it moving here. Let's see who goes after those top 7. Hideo Takasu was a guy that I wish would be better, but we had him 104th on our board, and that's a crazy pick. Here's Andy Kane, a starting pitcher. I barely looked at him. Still heartbroken that Felipe Beltran gets taken by the Oakland Athletics. He will be seeing immediate playing time there, if I had to guess. Terrence Ramirez goes to the Miami Marlins, a guy who falls right where we had him, 10th. Robert McLean goes 11th. So our next pick will be the competitive balance round pick, 37th overall pick. So whoever is on the board there is who will take. Henry Sanchez, the guy we talked about earlier. MLB had him at 12. We had him at 51. I didn't see a lot in him that made me think, yeah, this is a guy that I would definitely draft. Urbina, I think I did. Joaquin Urbina, or Urbina, is a guy that I saw. Jonathan Blanchard. Did not see this guy at all. Catcher. I think he was the #1 rated catcher, but a guy that I really wasn't too interested in. Didn't know a lot about him. Jeff Christensen goes 15th, which I gotta say, he was a guy that if he was available, I was going to take him probably with the next pick because of how many positions he can play. Has anybody that's injured been drafted yet? No. Okay, this is a starting pitcher that I kind of liked. I put him on my draft board. Richie Conrad's another guy that I liked. Real good contact. Kind of makes you think, should we have taken... No, there's no way we should have taken Conrad there. Here's Eldon Chappell. So we do have those closing pitchers who tend not to go as early as they think they're supposed to. Yamazaki goes 19th. Guy that we don't really know a whole lot about. Ivan Diaz was a starting pitcher that I gotta say I kind of liked what he was working with. We had 100% scouting on him as well. Mario Villanueva, another guy we had on our board. So he's a steal. He's a potential steal for the St. Louis Cardinals. He looks like he could be really good, but we're still only 50% scouted on him, so it's hard to tell. Brian Hurt gets drafted. He is the guy with really good contact numbers. He gets drafted by the Seattle Mariners. And then Eli Almanzar gets drafted right after him, who we scouted on our last one. Guy out of Venezuela. Holy crap. Ellis Patton, starting pitcher, goes 24th. Padres on the clock now. They go Paul Lowe, pitcher, who we did not scout. We had him 18th on our draft rank, though. Derek Hearn. So my goal is to get through this round 1 like this, and then round 2 the same, and then the rest of the rounds I'll simulate the selections. Casey Lima goes 27th. Because the goal is I don't really want to be live past 3 hours. Jack Wright goes 28th. 2 more picks here in the true round 1. Marco Bautista, Cincinnati Red. Brandon Marbury is that one of the center fielders who showed a little bit of pop. I actually don't know. So we have Devin Naylor, who is still available. Thomas Wolfe, another guy that's still available. If Thomas Wolfe's available, I think he's probably going to be my selection. Then you also got Felipe Campaneris, who I really like his contact, and I don't know. I really like what he could potentially bring to the table. Depends if he goes or not. If he goes, then I don't think we're going to get Felipe Campaneris, but he's got New York Yankee written all over him, from New York, big time hitter. And if it's not him, then we got Estrada here, a guy that I want to take. Does it look like we're going to be able to take a pitcher? Is one of those questions that I kind of have right now. So back-to-back Felipes. Can we see another Felipe at the 35th pick? Campaneris gets taken here, which I don't know if he will. His draft rank is 21, and we would take him at 37 where we have him positioned anyway. So let's see. What do the Tigers take here? Stephen Duffy. So we have a couple guys here that I'm interested in. Mainly Thomas Wolfe, who opted out of his doctor exam, has decent stuff to show us. Then you also got Devin Naylor, who could be a really well-rounded player. Could be a while until we see him. And you got Felipe Campaneris, who also could be a while until we see him. With Campaneris falling so far behind, it makes you think. You got Thomas Wolfe, who we have at this position right here, got good pitch velocity. We're 100% on him. It just seems like those ranges are way too high. Same thing with Devin Naylor. These guys seem like they are like project picks. And I got to say that I'm not necessarily interested in a project pick, but the potentials being what they are. I think Devin Naylor would probably have to be the pick, but I think Campaneris shows plus hitting. I think that vision and that contact can be really good. And then even defensively, he's not going to be a bad defender. Power, he's not going to hit for a whole lot of power, but he's going to be a good, solid hitter. I think Campaneris is where we go with this pick, just because I think the drop-off is the biggest risk, because the potential overall could be the lowest it could be. If it's a 72, Thomas Wolfe has a 75 on the low end, and Naylor at 83 on the low end. But I think that he also provides us with the most upside. I think he does. There's a chance that Devin Naylor could be available again. Same with Thomas Wolfe. Campaneris, I feel like, will be off the board soon. So Felipe Campaneris is going to be a Cincinnati Red. Could be another risky pick. He is healthy, though. That's one good thing about it, is Campaneris is healthy. He's been a guy that's been on my radar the whole time. So he is our second pick. It is what it is. I got to say, A's on the board here. Let's see who they take. We're going to have a pick in a couple of picks anyway, so we could take Naylor anyway. Steve Ramirez was taken here. All right, so yeah, we could probably take one of these two right here anyway. So Naylor could probably be worse than what he's showing. You got Thomas Wolfe, who is Sean Cortez. If the Pirates would just take one of these guys, then it could make our jobs, our life a little bit easier. They don't. So our next pick after this would be 79. So I think after this, I'll just simulate to our next pick. There's no reason to sit through all of this. I really like Antonio Estrada. If he was available, I would take him. Oof. Really good catcher. Can play third base as well. Would they take him is a question. I don't know. But we have to pick between Devin Naylor and Thomas Wolfe. So let's see. In the future, Wolfe would have a 49 to 64 hit. So I think Wolfe's got him there. Naylor would have a 54 to 69. Okay, Naylor barely. Walks 54 to 69. 58 to 73. Okay. 61 to 76. Yeah, I think that we know more about Thomas Wolfe than we do Devin Naylor. Wolfe is going to be the pick here. We know, like I said, we know more about him. He opted out, so another guy we could be taking a risk on. Got good pitch velocity, good pitch break. We're going to add Thomas Wolfe to the Cincinnati Reds squad to see what his overall is. We're drafting guys that I don't think are going to be MLB ready for a while. But Thomas Wolfe's the pick. He's a guy who I think is a steal for us. 100% is a steal for us. We picked him at 42, and his draft rank is 24. So that's really good. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to sim to the Reds' next pick just because I want to get through this. So we just did it. And our catcher that we wanted is gone. Who took him? Antonio Estrada goes to the Colorado Rockies. So no big deal. We do have two guys here that we're still interested in. Charlie Cruz is one of them. I'm not interested in taking that big of a risk. I would like to take a guy who... So here's Aiden Mathiasen. He's a guy who would be a steal. His fielding is not great, but he's got real good speed. He has potential to have real good vision and discipline. His hitting could improve. Let's go ahead and let's look at guys that we've scouted who we could potentially add here. David Bautista. Here's Cliff Chance, a guy that we've scouted here. And he opted out of his doctor exam as well. That overall, I don't like what that overall is looking like. He's 23 years old, too. I don't think I can take that. Here is Jim Martin. No, can't take that. Richie Ott. Josh McVale. No, I can't do that. Adolfo Franco, Rich Gutierrez. So there's Charlie Cruz here, who is another pitcher. Mathiasen would probably go soon. He's healthy. He's interested in signing. Okay, so yeah, both these guys are healthy. At 82 to 92 potential and at 67 to 92. Mathiasen wouldn't be ready for a while, more than likely. I just don't know how this draft class is really going to turn out here. Charlie Cruz, Alabama pitcher, or Aiden Mathiasen. I mean, you're talking about Charlie Cruz, who's actually got a higher ranking. He was originally draft ranked, not rated. Could this guy be a guy who is actually really good? The one thing that really I don't like about him has got to be that walks per nine is just extremely low. Mathiasen, though, is a guy who, his contact isn't going to be anything to really look at until he's probably 24, 25 years old. I think I'm going to go with starting pitcher Charlie Cruz. Could be a terrible pick, but I think we probably could have waited on him more than likely. We still have to scout him too. We still have to see, was that a good pick or was it a bad pick? So Aiden Mathiasen is the last guy we have sitting on our board. So let's go ahead and send to the Reds' next pick. And he was taken. When was he taken? He was taken by the Padres. So it could have been a bad selection for us. Here we are now. Kind of got to start thinking about a couple of guys who is another starting pitcher here. He's 20 years old, Richie Ott, out of Nebraska. No more closing pitchers on the board. So this is the only guys who really scouted. So you got Richie Ott here, Lamont Carson. I think Richie Ott's probably going to be the pick here. Right-hander. We also got Ryan Galvin, who's a lefty, 18 years old. Ryan Galvin. Let's go with one more pitcher here. Let's draft Ryan Galvin, a lefty. And then for our last couple of picks, I think we just take some shots in the dark on some random fielders. So let's go ahead and send to our next pick here. Like I said, we don't have anybody really worth looking at here. Catchers. Let's look at some catchers here. Okay, we got Giancarlo Garcia. Could be a decent hitter. We got DeAndre Floyd as well. And Giancarlo Garcia is a guy who we don't know anything about. Probably isn't that good of a prospect. He looks like he can hit well. Could be a good defender. So let's go ahead and add him to my draft queue because he might be the pick. And then these guys right here, I think that there's nothing that really jumped off the board. We got Ronald Batista, who looks like he could hit well. Let's go ahead and add him to the draft queue. All right. Third baseman, shortstops here. I'm looking for guys who I think could potentially play soon. Left fielders. Center fielder. And then right fielder. Danny Silva. So who do we go with? We go with Garcia. I think Giancarlo Garcia is probably the most well-rounded hitter out of the bunch. If he pans out, then he pans out. If he doesn't, then it is what it is. So let's go ahead and send to our next pick, and we missed out on everybody that we wanted again. So what prospects do we even have left? We got Richie Ott. He's still available. Let's go and take Richie Ott. Draft Richie Ott. And so we took a lot of pitchers in this draft. My plan wasn't to do that, but that's just what we planned on. That's just what ended up happening. So let's go ahead and send to the Reds' next pick, and that's it. That is the end of the 2023 first-year player draft. And we will get to sign our draft picks here soon. Because we've been going for an hour and 6, maybe 2 more hours potentially. So from here, I don't know what the plan is or how this works. The Lookouts have 27 men on their roster. Time to I am a little scared. I think that our Lodolo going 8 innings, 3 hits allowed, and we win 2-0. So that's very good. Joey Votto no longer injured. T.J. Hopkins no longer injured. Today is the bunch of things. Let's go ahead and let's get into the home run derby here. We'll go 4 minutes. And we got Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Trace Thompson, Jock Peterson, Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto, Jose Altuve, and Ronald Acuna. So we'll go CPU. Jock Peterson with the lowest power at 71. I'm interested to see once we sign our guys where their overall is at. So 2 guys for the Astros, 2 for the Dodgers. My plan is I'm just going to simulate the first round. Okay, so no teammates facing each other yet. Can we fast forward to the next round? So here's what happened in the first round. Stanton beats Acuna 14-13. Juan Soto beats Trace Thompson 19-17. Klay Thompson's brother, and then the last one there I saw. So the last one was Judge beat Altuve 16-15. So here we are in the semifinals. We can fast forward this as well, so it should not take that long. Kind of wanted to get us at the home run derby. Something that we don't do. We don't hit home runs. And the thing that does suck is I don't think that we did anything to make our power numbers better in this draft. I think we're still a contact hitting team first with who we grabbed. Jordan's kind of struggling here in the first minute. That one's crushed. My plan is also to play the All-Star game with quick counts. I wanted to play it, see, can I hit a home run? And we'll do that with quick counts and see how that works out. Hopefully it would make the game go quicker. Home run there for Alvarez. That one doesn't make it. That one off the base of the wall. So 5 homers, about 2 minutes to go. And there's your 6th for Alvarez. That one goes foul. Could we potentially see Judge and Stanton playing each other in the finals? And Alvarez still has not hit one over 440, so he's not going to get the 30-second bonus. A couple more throws here. You might get one more after this one. That one has enough carry, and he's not going to get another one. So 13 is what Alvarez gets.
longest was 433, and here's Giancarlo Stanton with his longest at 445. So maybe this just isn't a hitter's park. 434 right there, that's almost as far as Alvarez hit one the entire time. Another 434. He's hit him in the same spot. 414. He might get rid of Alvarez quickly. 417 for Stanton. He's hit 5 in a row. Make that 6 in a row. That one stood up there for a long time. You're 1 minute in and you're already killing your opponent. 425. Only 6 more to tie. He has hit every ball out. This one, I don't know where this one even went. It's gone. 403. He swung the bat 9 times. Make that 10 times, and he has hit 10 home runs. And finally, he hits one on the ground. Crushed that one. So yeah, this just isn't a hitter's park. I mean, hitting the ball 440 is not easy here. That's a fly out. Stanton, 2 away from tying Yordan Alvarez, 3 away from advancing to the championship round. And he's finally starting to go cold. Crushes that one. But it might go foul. No, it's fair. 416. 1 away from time. That one's going to be a fly out. That one's crushed to left center. 432. 1 more for Stanton, and he'll move on to the championship. Is that the one? Yes. Giancarlo Stanton moves on to the championship round. Who will he be taking on is the question. Will it be his teammate, Aaron Judge, or will it be Juan Soto? Juan Soto hit 19 in the first round. 450 was his longest. That's the longest one I've seen on the screen so far. He swings and misses. Not a good sign. So Soto with only 3 so far. Hits his 4th there. So for the All-Star game, I need to really kind of think. Do we want to do the quick counts, or do I just want to do a player lock with whoever gets the nod from the MLB? Because we don't have that many All-Stars, and so I don't think that it would really necessarily be worth it to play the entire All-Star game. Even if it was quick counts, even this Homerun Derby, just kind of want to get a look at some of these guys and see who will win it. It's nice to know who wins the Homerun Derby every year. So Soto, 10 home runs, 13 is what Yordan hit, and Giancarlo Stanton was able to beat it with 14. All right, being patient, waiting for his pitch, and it's going to pay. That one goes far. That one's got to be 440. 425. I thought that one was definitely our first 440 ball that I've seen. That one right there, probably going to go about 432. 419. All right. There's 13 for Soto. Little over, 30 seconds to go now. Hits this one. 20 seconds to go. There we go. That might be 14. That's 14. 10 seconds, maybe 2 hits left. This one's a moonshot. And here is the last chance for Soto. Home run number 15. It's got some carry, and it is gone. So 15 home runs for Juan Soto. 434 was the longest. And here's Aaron Judge. He hit 16 in the first round. But that's only because he had to hit that many. First one goes foul. And that's just what Judge does. He goes opposite field and just crushes everything. 417 there. I think we'll definitely see some 440 balls at this at-bat. And by the way the Judges start, that looked like he barely swung the bat. It's this one deep center field, and it's just got enough. I gotta say though, I think Judge might need the 2 440 home runs in order to have a chance here, because Or, you know what? Maybe I'm reacting here. It just seems like he's just poking his bat out there and he's hitting them. 422. Trying to go quick here. I want to get to this championship round. And all right, 3 away from tying is Aaron Judge. That one doesn't have enough carry. So we see an overtime. That was a line shot. Ooh, that would have been a double. Doubles don't count for anything here in the home run derby. Pokes his bat out there. Gets home run 13. He's got 1 minute to go. This one's another liner. Just off the wall. This one's going to get out. So 1 away from tying. Pokes his bat out. Gets number 15. Will we see number 16 to win the game? Or to win the round, I should say. Yes. Giancarlo Stanton versus Aaron Judge in the finals. The New York Yankee Bombers. We're going to allow Judge to go here. I'm going to go get a drink, and then I will be back in. Hopefully, Judge has hit 30. Alright, sorry for the delay, everybody. Been going for an hour and 19. Let's try and speed this up here. I'm sure nobody wants to watch Aaron Judge hit. And it looks like Giancarlo Stanton's going to have a real good chance of beating Aaron Judge here. He'll have maybe 2 more swings. This could be the last one. 13 homers for Aaron Judge. And here's Giancarlo Stanton. He needs 14 to win it. There's one. Could he be choking? Crushed that one, 428. All right, he's 7 away. 6 away from time. And he's finally getting into a groove, it seems like, here. All right, 408, he hits that one. He's got a minute and 40 to hit 3 home runs here, and that was a line shot, 390. Swings and misses. Hits that one down the line, foul. Lifts this one to left center. Does not have the carry. 1 minute to go. This one is crushed. 397. He's 1 away from tying. This one's dead center. 401 is dead center, and that's going to fall right before the warning track. All right. Line shot. And looks like the pitcher might be messing him over a little bit here. A couple bad pitches in a row. Stanton, he better get it going because he's going to have to probably hit back-to-back homers in order to win right now. Okay, he ties. So he's got maybe 3 more swings max. This for the win to deep left center field. Does it have enough carry? It does. Giancarlo Stanton has won the 2023 MLB Homerun Derby. Yankees fans win with this one. Giancarlo Stanton. He hit 14 home runs in every single round. All right, so that was fun. Let's confirm exit, not restart. Do that. All right. So when can we start signing our draft picks? I don't necessarily remember when. We also got this All-Star game right here. We can try and play it here. Let's go player lock. Do we have anybody? Okay, so we got Jay Allen playing in it. We got Cam Collier. Okay. Who do we want to play with? Do we want to play with Noel V, Cam Collier, or Jay Allen? Even got Michael Triano we could play with here. I think I want to play with. Let's play with Noel V. Tucker Davidson on the mound for the SLN All-Stars, and Victor Castaneda on the mound for the SLS All-Stars. There are their stats. You see Tucker Davidson with a 1.37 ERA, real good. All right. Pretty sick uniforms here. We're playing in Anaheim at the Angel Stadium here. Here's the Lovey Marte. And we have no patience at the plate, apparently. Pop that one in the shallow second, or shallow right. Here's Cooper Kenny leading off for the SSA All-Stars. Here's Noel Marte at short. Throws on to Triana and gets him. Looks like Anthony Rendon a little bit. All right, let's be more patient with Noel Marte here. Don't want to be erratic. AA All-Star game. He gets hit by a pitch. So, something a little personal. I would steal here. I would like to. Trying to break up the double play. Maybe we had a little bit to say about it. Tanner Murray at the plate. We lead 1-0. Try and turn 2 here. Carson Spires on the mound. We do. No! I think he was out. Whatever. It really looked like he was out. I'd have to watch it back. Here's Marte at short. Throw on to first. Ball's kind of trailing a little bit as it gets over to Triana. Here's Marte. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Facing the lefty, throws a curveball, changeup, and 2 fastballs. That one's low. So Noelvi Marte will probably continue to stay at AA for the rest of the season. We may then see him. That one was just out in front. We may see him at AAA by the time the end of the season, especially if we bring up De La Cruz. I think Marte would probably take his spot. And then Marte would probably follow in the same footsteps. And so Noelvi Marte, pinch hit for. Is there anybody else who I can? Christian Franklin. That's not one of my guys. One out. Can we get out of it? Okay. They did tie it. Okay, now they have the lead. Oh my gosh, finally. Okay, I'm seeing if there's... Alright, 2 outs. They're going to keep Don Nunez, and they do. So that's going to do it. Figured we would kind of get a look. Triana goes 2 for 3. He's a guy who when you look him up in the Reds' actual farm system, he's not very highly valued. But every game that I've played of MLB The Show, he's always been so good at the minor league level. Always. So Homerun Derby is done. We don't have anything else to do today. So we can't sign draft picks. Let's go ahead and advance one day. Today is the MLB All-Star Game. Today is the day to sign draft picks as well. So, trade deadline prep is in 6 days. Trade talks. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Do we know the All-Star teams yet? No, we don't. But we know today is the All-Star Game. So let's go ahead and try and sign some draft picks. I think that, number one, I want to get Charlie Cruz in there. That way we can try scouting these guys. Ryan Galvin as well. I want to do Bautista here. You know, we have the scouting that we want him. Do we want to scout him potentially? Well, actually, that's super dumb. He's already 100%. All right, interest we see there. He was our number 1 pick. Got that bonus demand. Our bonus allotment is $12.36 mil. So let's go ahead and see if we can't offer him a contract here. So we projected MLB's suggested draft pick value is at 5.7 mil. He expects 3.8. I don't think we'll have to really give him the 5.7. I think if we give him 4.7. Let's try 4.7 and submit. Okay, so now the doctor is saying he's healthy. So he opted out, now he took it. I'm confused. Submit. Alright. So Bautista, not good. We kind of wanted to be able to take him. So let's remove this guy here. Let's go ahead and try and sign Thomas Wolfe here. And offer him a contract. So he's at 1.8. His demand is 1.8. I think we would probably have to go up to about 2. Let's try 2 for Thomas Wolfe. And Thomas Wolfe is our first signed MLB draft pick. 18 years old at 75 to 90 potential. Probably not going to see him for a while. Starting pitcher. I think that this is a good addition to the squad. Maybe got to fix that beard up a little bit. But Thomas Wolfe is a Cincinnati Red. Officially has been signed. All right. So now let's go ahead and look at Felipe Campaneris as well. Is this a guy that we maybe want to scout? Because Bautista we can't. Do we maybe want to scout Campaneris here? Because if we go, I'm pretty sure once Thomas Wolfe has been signed, we can't do anything else with him. So Felipe Campaneris, let's go ahead and scout him again. And let's go ahead and scout him some more. And then let's also go ahead and scout Charlie Cruz a little bit as well. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, we'll do something like this. Just kind of figure out more about Campaneris. I mean, it really does not matter. We got him at 95%. Let's just try and offer this guy a contract. So his is 2.4. We devalue him at 2. Let's just go ahead and go with 2.35 and see if he'll take it. Okay, so Felipe Campaneris has decided to sign with the Cincinnati Reds. This is a big-time first baseman prospect. Big guy. I think that he could offer a lot as far as his contact goes. So it does make me happy to see that we were able to pick him up. And then let's go ahead and put Giancarlo Garcia on there to scout him. So that's what we're going to go with. And let's go ahead and finalize the 3-day signing plan. We still haven't been able to get Marco Bautista yet, which kind of sucks. All right, so let's go to the calendar here. Let's go ahead and view organizational games, and let's go ahead and we hop in a player lock game. I don't think we're going to have a starter. JT Realmuto is the guy there. Let's go ahead and view organizational games, play games, and let's go. Let's just head into quick manage here. So let's see, who do we have? Josiah Gray. These are all the pitchers. Did we get a pitcher in here? No. Did we get an offensive player? Had to have been. So Tyler Stevenson is going to be an all-star for us. He is the only all-star. They might not bring him in. So Realmuto is the catcher there, you see. Will they ever take him out? Ooh, a lot of runs for the AL squad there. All right, let's go ahead and enter the game. You know, I think that they kept Realmuto in for a very long time. You also got Wilson Contreras, who probably could have started, could have played just a little bit. So we'll hop in here with Ozzie Albies. I just want to get Tyler Stevenson an opportunity to hit one time in this All-Star game. As the series goes on and we are able to get more people playing in the All-Star game, then we'll start to play the All-Star game. But if we're only going to have one guy in the All-Star game and he's not even going to start and he's just only going to play like one inning, then there's no reason to necessarily play the whole game. So Albies thrown out. And here's Realmuto. Let's put Stevenson in there. Contreras will hit for the next player. That's what we'll do. Tyler Stevenson batting .277 on the season for the Cincinnati Reds, making an All-Star appearance here. Takes strike number 1 at the knees. Good contact for Stevenson. 86 contact, 59 power. And that's terrible. Terrible. All right, 1-2 count. You're down 15-3. Let's just swing away, buddy. No reason to go contact here. Stevenson strikes out. Hope that wasn't Contreras' fault. He's playing in the outfield. One out away, and the AL All-Stars have defeated us 15-3 in a blowout victory. Hits for the AL All-Stars. Adley Rutschman, player of the game. He goes 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. All right, let's get out of that there. Now that that's out of the way, we can get out of the All-Star break here. And nothing is stopping us from just focusing 100% on our draft picks until the trade deadline. Because trade deadline day is going to be exciting. So I don't think we can do anything right. Okay. Is that a glitch that we just saw? Because I shouldn't be able to sign Marco Bautista right now. Because it said that I have to wait 3 days. But now I'm able to scout him. Okay, so a little bit of a glitch potentially. All right, so let's go. He wants 5.7 is what Major League Baseball is saying. I think if we go 5.5, that gives us 2.4 left over to spend. I just don't want to go any higher than that. Let's send an offer over to Marco Bautista, and he signs. That's a lot of money on this guy. We had him number 1 on our board. He is healthy now. I don't know if he eventually did get the exam and now he's fine, but that's a lot of money. We don't have that much more to spend, like that much money left over. Luckily, these guys' bonus demand isn't that much. And then we got 2 other guys here as well, Richie Ott and Ryan Galvin. Let's go ahead and get Ryan Galvin in there. And let's advance and finalize the 3-day plan. And let's go ahead and skip to the rest of that day. I forgot about the AAA All-Star game. It's all right. And today is the day to sign draft picks. Did we find anything else out about Charlie Cruz? He's a guy that I really like, and we're going to continue to look at him. Here's Richie Galvin, a guy who looks like he's getting better. Let's continue to keep Charlie Cruz in there. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Finalize the 3-day plan. Lookouts have 27 players on their roster. A lot of bad relievers. How's Andrew Abbott doing now? Okay, settling in a little bit. 7-3 victory against Milwaukee. 1-7 loss versus Milwaukee. And Andrew Abbott will be out for a few days after a small injury. So here's the trade block. Contract extensions are now here. We can start to offer guys. I think Stevenson and Green are 2 guys I want to offer quickly. A lot of guys to offer here. Good, these draft picks here. All right, so we're learning a little bit about Charlie Cruz here. I don't think there's any reason not to sign him. Let's go ahead and offer him a contract here. Because of his interest level, I think that we can probably afford to give him in the middle of what MLB suggests and what he is demanding. So let's go ahead and submit. Oh my gosh. So Charlie Cruz says, no way, I'm not signing. Richie Galvin, though, is a guy who I am going to offer. I don't think I can give him exactly what he wants, so that's it. If he doesn't want to sign, he signs. So Richie Galvin signs. He was 80th on our board. We don't know a lot about him yet, so could be a terrible signing. Don't know yet. So now we'll have Richie Ott here. Is there any way? Yeah, let's just go with Richie Ott, and then we got Charlie Cruz. We have 1.98 mil left. I think that should be enough easily to get these other three guys here. So let's go ahead and finalize that 3-day signing plan and continue simulating. Alexis Diaz with a chance to win the game for us, and he blows another save. How did he do it? Terrible. We win this one 9-7. Andrew Abbott no longer hurt. So let's go. Okay, so Richie Ott, probably not as good as we thought he was. I mean, Charlie Cruz, we got enough money to maybe give him something like this. I think that this is a fair amount. If he doesn't want this, then I don't know what to tell him. Okay, Charlie Cruz, starting pitcher, signs with the Cincinnati Reds, a 18-year-old right-handed pitcher who could be ready to go. I think that could be a good signing there for us. And then last but not least, you got Giancarlo Garcia, who we're learning a little bit about, and then you got Richie Ott here. Let's go ahead and offer a contract to Richie Ott. And let's go ahead and give him $290. Let's see if that is enough to get it done. And he does. So Richie Ott has signed with the Cincinnati Reds. 20-year-old right-handed pitcher. He's healthy. He's ready to go. And then finally, we have Giancarlo Garcia, a backup catcher potentially for us. Let's just go ahead and offer him a contract. And I don't think I can offer him. I can offer him that. And if he doesn't want it, then I don't really know. We have the money to give him what he wants, but let's see. Yeah, I kind of figured he's not going to sign that. I'd like to get more scouting on him anyway. I think that'd be a good idea. So let's go ahead and finalize that 3-day plan. Continue simulating. Francisco Urbaez will be out for 1 to 2 weeks. And today is the day to sign draft picks. We're struggling now at this point. Completed Casey Mize. Here's some more trades here. Scott Barlow has been traded for Kai Bush. And the Orioles have acquired Jack Leiter for Jorge Mateo. Terrible trade by the Texas Rangers. But what am I going to do? All right, so let's go to sign draft picks again. Trying to learn a little bit more about Giancarlo Garcia. I mean, I just don't think that he's going to be a guy that's that good. Let's go ahead and try and just give him what he wants, and he signs with us. So we have completed our signing period for all of our draft picks because I feel like we just need prospects, and I think having prospects is a good thing. So that was the plan behind it. So we can finalize there. We can review our trade block. We can play a game. We can view all trade blocks, trade talks, contract extensions. Let's go look at the trade block here. Sonny Gray is on there. So I have kind of a direction that I want to go in. There's a couple of guys on here that I would like to trade for potentially. Can't believe Curtis Mead is on here. That's crazy. One of your top prospects. Yeah, Diego Cartaya also on here. Just wild. Taylor Trammell is a guy that we could get back. I think he presents more power. I don't know that I'd want to do that necessarily. Samuel Basalo. Now here's one guy that I do like. I like Heriberto Hernandez. He's got good power. He's hitting a lot of home runs at the AA level. I think he's going to continue to get better as well. So he's one guy that I definitely want to trade for. We'll stay patient on it for now. And then contract extensions here. What did Hunter Green get in real life? Let's see. I mean, looking for $1.6 million a year, that's kind of crazy. I don't want to screw this guy over. I mean, this is a guy who should be asking for a lot of money. And the crazy thing is he doesn't want a long-term deal either. He wants a short-term deal. Okay, so if he's looking for a long-term deal, he's going to be looking for more money, as expected. Okay, so if we want 6-year, I'm about to look it up. In real life, what did he get? Okay, so if we want something like this, so he signed a 6-year, $53 million deal. So about what we're looking at right here. If we went 53, but we know that he's going to be our ace, and the payout structure, we could go normal, or we could go front-loaded or back-loaded. I think we would probably just go normal. Let's go ahead and make this offer. This is what we sent. This is what the Reds offered him in real life. I think that if we offered this to him in the game, he may accept it. He would be our ace. We could give him an option, which I think he might have an option in his real-life contract. Would we want to give him an option is the thing. So there's a club option involved. And we can give him a player option, but let's just go with none. No option. Let's just see, would this signing work? Okay, so Hunter Green has accepted the offer. So he takes exactly what he took in real life, which is perfect. And then you also got Tyler Stevenson here, who I think is the future of the squad. He's the potential new Joey Votto. I think if we give him a 6-year, and he would be a guy that it would take more to get him. I think it would probably take $12 million a year. Now, if we go 6-year, $72 million every day, I think he's our star. He's a guy who is our star. I think that right there, let's go 6-year, $70 million, which would be about 11.7 a year. I'd like more about 11 a year. So Tyler Stevenson, 6-year deal worth $70 million. Star would be the role. These are two guys that I want back for sure anyway, so we might as well just give them the contract now, but we don't necessarily need to either, but these are the only two that I'm going to do it to anyway. So let's go ahead and send this offer. And Tyler Stevenson has also signed a contract extension. Nick Lodolo would be next, but I don't know that I'm going to send him an offer over yet. Like a long-term contract extension yet. Graham Ashcraft, another guy who I'm going to be doing that in the future, but not right this second. Same with Jonathan India, another guy. But those two guys, and Tyler Stevenson and Hunter Green, are two guys that I want on this team forever. Tyler Stevenson has the ability to be the new Joey Votto, and Hunter Green has the ability to be a lifelong starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds squad. These are two future guys here. I don't want to get rid of them. So there's your contract extensions. Now I think that since we've signed all of our draft picks, we can just continue to simulate the lookouts don't have 2 lineups. I mean 4 lineups. Okay, we need to go with Ivan Johnson, unless he's the guy that got hurt. So that, if so, I feel a little bad. Okay, in what? Right-handed pitching DH, left-handed pitching DH. Why is Jake Fraley leading off? Right-handed pitching DH. I think we got to go with Friedel leading off. Left-handed pitching DH, I think we're going to need Nick Solak. I think is probably the best to go there. Will Myers, Steer, Votto at first base in this position. I don't like that. I like probably Luke Maile is who you got to go with there. I mean, this is an all right-handed lineup. I just don't think that's. Let's go Friedel there. I just think that's dumb. Just go with something like that. I don't know why it continues to want to switch around my lineup. Let's go ahead and simulate to the end of the game. Can we walk them off? No. And we have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Okay, we defeat the Brewers. Will Benson out for a minute. And Chase Petty, just an injury-prone guy. Okay, the Angels are interested in offering us. They want to try and send over Jordan Adams for Nick Senzel. Jordan Adams is a prospect who is 23 years old. He's hitting at the AAA level right now. He must have just got called up. It seems like they're interested in Senzel for a very weird, odd reason. I'm going to say, they got Renfroe. Then after that, there's a drop-off. Brett Phillips. I'm going to say no, because crazy as it sounds, I think Nick Senzel offers more to our team than Jordan Adams will when he's 27. So therefore, I'm going to say no. I'm going to decline this trade from the Angels. I just don't think that it makes a whole lot of sense for us. All right. Continue simulating here. Today is the day to sign draft picks. We've already signed all of our draft picks, so really nothing to do there. Soon we will see what everybody's overall is. Now we're a team that's starting to struggle a little bit. Bats do not have 4 lineups. Just Ciani in there. Ellie De La Cruz up to 265. This is a guy who is very close to getting called up. If we go up and we look up at top prospects, he's actually lost his spot to Jackson Chourio, but he is so close to being called up. Cam Collier, 15th rated prospect at this point. Noel B. Marte, dropping him. Well, he might still be the same. Edwin Arroyo, and then still Chase Petty at 45. So it's getting fun. It's definitely getting fun. Matt McClain, that will probably end his season. 60-day IL. And now, with McClain going down, I think we're going to see Noel B. Marte make the jump up to the AAA level. I just think that was probably what we were waiting for. I think you're going to have Marte playing. I don't think you want to have him playing second. And De La Cruz. So we're going to have Noelvi Marte play short. We're going to have De La Cruz play at third. Let's go ahead and just move him up the lineup as well. And then here, let's go Marte at third. No, let's do this. Marte at short, Elly De La Cruz at third. And De La Cruz is fit into now at his lineup position as well, so let's keep him there. Second base. So Elly De La Cruz is moving over to third now, and a lot of people probably aren't going to like that. But I think that that's what makes the most sense for this team moving forward because he can play third. Noelvi Marte is not really a third baseman. He can't really play it. And Chase Petty, is he injured again? No, that's Chad Pender. I was about to say. Go ahead and keep him active here. We are a struggling team right now. .387 winning percentage, and now we're turning into one of the worst teams in baseball. And I think we still have a chance to be one of the worst teams in baseball once our trade deadline rolls around because we're going to be getting rid of a lot of people. So let's finish. Chad Pender no longer injured. We lose again. Now we have 2 days left here in August. Let's go ahead. Simulate one more game. Graham Ashcraft will be out for a few days. Keep him active. Today is the trade deadline. Okay. We lose again. So today's the trade deadline. What that means is we're going to go through. We're going to make some trades. Give me 1 second, and I will be back. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go look at our statistics. Who's the best guy on our team? Will Myers has played the most for us. He's second in hits on the team. He's got 8 homers. Okay, so Tyler Stevenson has started to pick it up. He's probably going to have a 20-homer season. Jake Fraley with 13 homers. Will Myers with only 8 homers here. And, I think that his slug is at 429, OPS 768. He hasn't been bad. No, sorry. If we go to WAR, Tyler Stevenson is leading the team in WAR, and Will Myers has a 1.3 WAR. So he's our second best player effectively on the team. I think it's time that Will Myers will be the first player that we go and try and make. Let's go to transactions real quick. So we have a couple guys here, Jordan Weems and Stone Garrett. Interesting name. 27 years old, 62 overall. Not a bad hitter. Vision's very low, though. He's actually played at the big league level before. He played pretty well. And then he's playing at AAA level right now, and he's also playing pretty well. Stone Garrett. Too old, I think. That's the one thing. Wanted to go to transactions completed. There has been a couple more trades here. A bunch of trades. Tommy Edman for Bobby Miller and Nick Biddison. You got Giovanni Gallegos for Sal Frelick. You got Jonathan Scope for Marcelo Mayer. Crazy trade. Stupid trade. Rays acquire Vinny Pasquantino for Taj Bradley. Okay. That's not a bad trade, I guess. Guardians acquire Jake Berger for Tanner Bibby. Brewers acquire Suarez for Eric Brown Jr. And Diamondbacks acquire Dylan Floro for Blake Walston. Some crazy trades, but I think this is something I can get over. Let's go to the trade deadline. The trades, and let's try and make a trade here. Will Myers, and then, I think that I had some pictures pulled up of some potential trade opportunities. See, I saw that one there, and I don't think that was the one that I really wanted to make. So we got an opportunity to make a trade here. And I really like Heriberto Hernandez, 23-year-old that plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's got real good power. He can play a plethora of positions. He hit 13 home runs at the AA level right now. So this is a guy who I really do like. His overall should be on the rise. Now, big thing with this one is Will Myers steps in and probably starts right away for this squad. Does Will Myers help these guys right now? If we go look at the standings, the Rays probably they're in a position where what do they need help with the most, do you think? So if we go to make a trade again, sorry, I didn't want to have to do that. But if you go to Arozarena is starting. Jose Siri here, but then you got Manuel Margot. How has he been playing? He's actually been playing pretty good. You got Jose Siri here. What would necessarily make these guys better right away? Would it be a relief pitcher? Probably not necessarily. I guess Garrett Clevenger is struggling. Okay. Colin Poche is playing good. Ryan Thompson is playing good. Sean Armstrong playing good. So I don't think that the bullpen is where they really need help. Especially they got a couple of good guys here. Kettridge, he's at the MLB level. So I think we go Will Myers for Heriberto Hernandez. I think that this is a pretty much straight up trade. I don't think that there's anything else that needs to be added other than we know that this is a team that has real good pitching prospects. They're able to develop pitchers in a very good way. What about Victor Castaneda? Is he a guy that we could potentially trade for as well? He's 24 years old. He's probably not going to get much better. He's at AA right now. Did we try to do something like that? And then, what do they seek in center fielder? We could also throw in a Senzel. We could throw in one of our prospects as well, maybe Ciani. He doesn't really add too much to the team. What about Jose Barrero? Because that's something that they would be interested in. I think it's a stupid addition for them. He would already be their worst shortstop. So they just traded for Vinny Pasquantino. Really good addition for them as well. Jason Vosser would be a guy I would put on there, but he's not healthy yet. So I don't think I can make that trade, or can I? I don't think I can make that trade. If we go Will Myers and Jason Vosser for Heriberto Hernandez and Victor Castaneda, Castaneda's a guy who at the double, he probably is not getting the call up in this franchise. Let's just be honest. And then Heriberto Hernandez, another guy, is probably not getting the call up. We're giving them a guy who's going to produce right away in Will Myers, and a guy who can play first base as well for you in Jason Bostler. I think this is the trade that we go with. Let's see if we're able to make this trade. Yep, and the Tampa Bay Rays have accepted our deal. Will Myers and Jason Bostler for Castaneda, for Heriberto Hernandez, and Victor Castaneda. So Castaneda is going to be a guy that's like around the same overall as a Brandon Williamson, Vladimir Gutierrez. Sorry if you can hear the police sirens. That's a bit annoying. So I think that that's a good trade for us. I could be ripping the CPU off. I could be ripping the CPU off, and that's not what I want to do. Like I said, I don't think Castaneda is going to be a guy that's going to get the start right away for us. So I'm not too worried as far as that goes. Now, if we go to lineups at the AA level, Brian Ray is. Oh, he's not. It's crazy. I think that he's at the AAA level. I mean, at the single A level right now. Or no way, we got him at AAA. Yeah, so we're not going to put Hernandez there. We're going to put him at AA. Same thing with starting pitcher. I want to see what he can do. Okay, finishing the rest of the year out at AA. So I definitely want to get him in there catching a little bit. I think that we're going to have to bring somebody up. Let's go ahead and, no, we don't want to do that. We need to bring up, like, Matthew Nelson. Let's go ahead and move Matthew Nelson up to AAA. So there's Andrew Abbott's numbers. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of slow stuff. All right. Player statistics. I don't know that we're going to have any other position players get traded here. Fraley's going to definitely stick around. He was a guy that I thought about at first, but no, he's staying around. Ferrero, how in the world are you really going to trade this guy? He's just so terrible. I was thinking Senzel, but then again, I think Senzel sticks around. Now, pitchers, though, is where you get interesting. I think Buck Farmer and a TJ Antone are two guys who probably are going to get the trade just because. Now, if we look at their WAR, Luke Weaver, real good WAR. Antone and Farmer, even Sessa here. Their FIP. Best FIP is Lucas Sims, then TJ Antone, then Buck Farmer, and then Luke Weaver. So I'm thinking Antone and Farmer. Let's make a trade with somebody here. The team that I was thinking about when I first was looking at potential trade partners it was the Twins, because the Twins are a team that's probably still going to be battling for a playoff spot, and is bullpen something that they need help in. Let's go, if we look at their pitching rotation, I think that like a Buck Farmer could help. Take Dennis Santana, who you really don't want out there, let's be honest with you, and you take a Jorge Alcala. This is a team that could potentially win a World Series if you give them the bullpen pieces that they need. Other team maybe that could use is maybe Houston can use a bullpen pitcher. And so you could go separate ways with what you want to do there. You also got the Angels. And the Angels could give you a Joe Adele. They could do something like that. You got the Rangers. I think the Twins are the one team that I really like. And if we go over to the Twins, there's a guy on that roster that I really like. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, Alex Kirilloff, you can't do that. You're right. I'm not going to do that. That is not the move. It is Aaron Sabato. He's 23 years old. He's got big power. This is a guy that could be a huge trade acquisition for us. And I think that if we go T.J. Antone and Buck Farmer, that still doesn't get the job done. So we would have to, in turn, probably give up a prospect of our own. And I don't know what happened there. So if we go Aaron Sabato and we go maybe like T.J. Antone and Buck Farmer, I think we would have to give up a prospect of our own, and that would probably be Rhys Hines. Now, Rhys Hines and Aaron Sabato are very similar in the fact that they're C potential guys. But Rhys Hines just isn't going to give us the power projection that we necessarily want, which is crazy to think about because he is hitting home runs. So I'm going to take him away. I don't think that would be smart. Where else do they struggle and could potentially use some help? They got Kyle Farmer at third. I'm sure that they don't want to continue to this is tough because Chase Petty back to them. I like Sabato a lot, but the way that it looks, I don't know that that's going to be a realistic landing spot. Let's go over here to the Angels. Because first I would have to see, they did bring him up. So maybe they're trying one last ride with Joe Adele. Let's think about a team that's trying to compete. Twins are that team. White Sox and Red Sox are two teams we'll look at. I know what I want to do with the Diamondbacks, but let's go look at White Sox and Red Sox. They're a team that definitely could use something. And the White Sox are also a team that could use some help. But I think the Red Sox could be the team that we really want to make a trade with. If we go T.J. Antone for, I don't know what kind of potential guys they have that we could trade for. You have Nathan Hickey here. He's not anybody I really want. Tristan Casas would not make that trade ever. They do have Nico Cavadas, who is a power hitter, 24 years old, see potential. Okay. Second base prospects, anything here? David Hamilton. Okay, Nick Sogard. This is going to be a crazy trade. I think this would be a very bad trade for them. Yeah, don't think we're going to get that. Nick York. Okay. I think that this one right here is going to be harder to really feel like we're getting anything. Emmanuel Valdez. Could not do that. I mean, he does one good thing well. David Hamilton, on the other hand, see him there, and then you got Nick York, 20-year-old prospect. I think if we went something like this, I just don't. Let's go White Sox, and let's go Antone. Is there anything that they would give us? See, DJ Gladney. I'm looking more for power. I don't want to feel like we have to hold on to these guys. And so I think, okay, here's a Brian Ramos, 21 years old, can play third, first, and second. Got power, he's got good vision. I think that we could go something like that. And then let's go, what's their starting pitching looking like? I think that they could use a fifth starter, of course. And I think Davis Martin, that's who they got going right now. He's not pitching bad. I think Clevenger having him there is fucking my fault. I think that it's crazy. I think we go Luke Weaver here. I think we go TJ Antone and Luke Weaver for White Sox third base prospect, which we go look at him here. Brian Ramos, 21 years old. He's a 62 overall. I think he has potential to have real good power. He has actually had service time as the White Sox called him up, which probably should not have done that. He wasn't even playing that well. I think that this is who we go with. I think that Brian Ramos is a prospect that we can get in return for Antone and Weaver, and I think that's what we'll do. They're interested in making a trade, so that's what the trade is. We have acquired another prospect. So with that being said, we're in a position now where this third baseman now, Brian Ramos, he's at the big league level, and you know it's crazy. This is going to count as a major league option. I think he's a double-A guy, and does that count? Okay, that doesn't count as one of those options, which is good because we didn't really have control over the situation there. Let's go ahead and send Richie Martin back down. And now we need to bring a starting pitcher up, and I think it's time to bring Justin Dunn up and get him some time at the major league level. And Victor Castaneda, he was playing at the AAA level, so let's bring him up to the AAA level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then relief pitchers, we need to bring up somebody from the AAA level to pitch at relief. And I think that that's where we're going to bring up Bennett Sousa, just to give us another lefty in the bullpen, since we made a deal with somebody. So let's go ahead and look at the pitching rotation. We're going to have Justin Dunn go here. Santillan is getting starts right now in place of Graham Ashcraft. I don't like that, but that's just the way it's gone. Buck Farmer, Bennett Sousa, Joe Cunnell, Daniel Norris, and Lucas Sims are your pitchers now. In the bullpen, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are really only pitching right now due to the fact that Ashcraft is still hurt. Here at Double-A, I think we go Levi Stout, and then I think that from there you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. So we're going to need to bring up somebody else, like a relief pitcher. We're going to have to do something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And then at AAA, I think we're going to go with Victor Castaneda. And then lineup. So we just got rid of So this is where the Will Myers trade comes into play. I think we're going to go Solak in right field. And then over here at AA, who are we going to go with? Is it Ramos? So Ramos can't play there. I think Collier can't. So I think we go something like that. We go Ramos at something like that. So this is a new addition to the squad. I think that he could be fun. I think he's got good potential. So that's what the roster is looking like now. And now I think that there is a potential to make, because if you go to the standings here, and you go to the National League wild card, the Diamondbacks are trying to make a push, because we just made a trade with the White Sox, who are another team that could be trying to make a push. So let's go Diamondbacks, and let's see, can we make a trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks? And I think that one thing that they probably could use is probably another starter, and I think that's where Luis Cessa could come into play. And then if you go to their bullpen, it's not a bad bullpen, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think they could use a 7th, and I think that 7th could be Buck Farmer. And from there, I think that you go, we go ahead and we look and see, do they have any pitching prospects potentially, like Justin Martinez? I don't like that base on ball per 9. Chad Patrick. What about Luis Frias? Don't like that. Carlos Vargas. I think something like a Carlos Vargas would be just about the best that we could do. I don't think that would be fair to them. What about a relief pitcher prospect, like Landon Sims? See, because this is a guy that's going to have less value. I do like him, though. I think that he's a guy that I could potentially... Okay, we'll think about it. Catchers, nothing there. You got Seth Beer. He's a guy who used to have... He did it again. This is a team that's not going to give you a lot of prospects. You get Gene Walters. I mean, that's not a deal I'm looking to make there. Ryan Bliss. Geraldo Perdomo. He has played at the big league level before. Left fielding prospects. I don't like getting only see potential guys. I think that in this position that we're in, I think it's what would be the best for both parties. Like Kyle Lewis, I can't do something like that. Pavin Smith, or Pavin Smith, however you say his name, is a guy that is intriguing for sure. You also got Dominic Canzone, who's a little interesting. But I think the one that I like the most is Landon Sims. He's 22 years old. He's a C potential, 63 overall relief pitching prospect. I do like what he could present to us out of the bullpen. So we're going to trade Luis Cessa and Buck Farmer to the Arizona Diamondbacks for relief pitching prospect Landon Sims. I know that these trades are probably crazy, and they might be, but that's what we're going to rock with. So we need another starter called up here, and I think that's where we bring up Vladimir Gutierrez. We have to add him to the 40-man, but we can just go ahead and move this man up to the MLB, and then let's call Connor Phillips up to AA. And then we need another relief pitcher to be called up, and I think that's where we go with Ian. So Landon Sims will be starting out at AAA. I think we go Ian Giebout there and call him back up to the big league level. And so let's go Vladimir Gutierrez. He's called back up again for the Cincinnati Reds club. Giebout is back. If you go to AA now, you got Connor Phillips, I think, is probably... Let's go Connor Phillips there. And then over here, you got Landon Sims, and I want Landon Sims to be in that setup role. I think that's a good role for him. And I think that that is the final trade that we're going to make. If we go to transactions, let's see, these are the ones we already saw. Transactions completed. Here are the 3 trades that we made. So we acquired Heriberto Hernandez and Victor Castaneda from the Rays for Will Myers and Jason Vosler. That one is the one where we probably brought back the most. I think we got a lot in return there. We got a left fielding prospect and a starting pitching prospect. And then the second trade was we acquired Brian Ramos from the White Sox for TJ Antone and Luke Weaver. And then the final one was we acquired relief pitcher Landon Sims from the Diamondbacks for Luis Cessa and Buck Farmer. So 3 trades. We lose 6 players. We receive 4 in return. We lose guys that I don't think we had any business bringing back after this season. So Vosler and Myers for Heriberto Hernandez and Victor Castaneda. And then Brian Ramos we get for TJ Antone and Luke Weaver. And then the last one, like I said, Landon Sims for Luis Cessa and Buck Farmer. That probably makes us a worse team. It definitely probably does make us a worse team here. Looking at what the future holds, now it's like these starting pitchers that we drafted, hopefully some of them can be pretty good. Andrew Abbott's a guy I want to see in the starting lineup soon. Spencer Steer, any of these guys that we traded for that are going to be a part of the future, it doesn't really look like it. But I think that that's going to be exciting. I mean, if we go to our roster now, we have some of these prospects here. We have our B prospects, but now the list of C potential prospects that we have that are going to contribute soon is a big list now. Christian Encarnacion Strand, Brandon Williamson, Landon Sims, Richie Martin I'm not going to add, Will Benson I'm not going to really count him, but then Stuart Fairchild, Nick Solak, Tony Santillan. But it's kind of this range right here of Reese Hines and Brian Ramos. These are guys, Austin Hendrick. Let's go more like Nick Plummer, yeah, Jay Allen, yes, Victor Castaneda, Vladimir Gutierrez. I mean, these are guys that I hope we can eventually start working with and they can help us out. Let's go with something like he reminds me of MJ Melendez a little bit. Maybe I'm just gotta fix this guy's glove, of course. So that's Heriberto Hernandez. So, how much worse did we get? How much better did we get? I don't really know. And then our 40-man does look like it needs 4 guys added to it. Let's go to the MLB roster. Who was not added to the 40-man that we can add? The MLB roster would have everybody. Cam Collier is not added. I'm not going to add him yet just because I think it might be a minute till we see him. Nick Plummer, let's go ahead and add him to the 40-man. Jay Allen, no. Christian Encarnacion, yeah, let's add him to the 40-man. Austin Hendrick, not yet. Well, actually, I do want to see him in spring training next year, so might as well add him. And then Andrew Abbott, yes, let's add him to the 40-man. So now we should have. Wait, I think we have too many now. No, we have one more we can add. Chad Pender, Victor Castaneda, Matt McClain. Matt McClain it is. Okay, so we can't add him, never mind. Okay, so that is it for the trades. We don't have anybody that made the big league roster from the trades, but the lineup changes a little bit. We lose out on some things, on some key players. Stuart Fairchild is going to be starting to get a more increased role. Got to do something here. And the pitching rotation changes a little bit. You got Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Santillan now still filling in for Ashcraft, Vladimir Gutierrez, and Justin Dunn. So it's going to be interesting. We lose pretty much some of our best parts of the team. Yeah, so let's go ahead and simulate through that day. Baez will be out for 2 days. All right, today is the deadline to sign draft picks. Edwin Arroyo had a tough month of July. Fernando Cruz. Andrew Abbott struggled during July. So that's what we see. Reese Hines, Ciani, Randy Wine, Connor Overton. So, yeah, Andrew Abbott is probably going to be one of the guys that's real close to being called up probably next year to be in our starting rotation. So, contract extensions. Nothing more to look at there yet. September call-ups is what will be next. And play the next game. It'll be Justin Dunn's first chance. So, we're not going to see Justin Dunn. We're actually going to simulate this game and get into the second game. Lookouts have 27 men on their roster. So we're going to go ahead and simulate this first game. So we're not going to see Justin Dunn right away. My plan for the next episode is maybe we just go through the entire month. We player lock some games with some of the guys that we traded for and kind of get a feel for what these guys are looking like. I want to see a game with Andrew Abbott as well. September, my plan is it's going to be all Elly De La Cruz. The whole month of September is an Elly De La Cruz video, and then the last game of the season will be the last video of the season, which will be October 1st versus the St. Louis Cardinals. So the rest of the season, what do we do? Do we decide to maybe focus on our farm system? Because the Major League roster is going to be kind of boring. And then the last game of the season, we'll go back to the Major League roster. So that's what I think. I think August, we play with all the guys that we traded for. We play some player luck games, try to get as many highlights as we can. In September is all about Elly De La Cruz. And then October is the final game with the big league squad before we head into our first offseason. So that's the plan going forward. So this will be everybody that we traded for. You're going to see in the next video. We're going to get all player lock games with those guys in August, and it won't be any full games. It'll be all player lock. So let's simulate this day. Okay, lookouts don't have 4 valid lineups. So I'm trying to figure out. Let's go with that. There's a lot of guys. Seems like we do have a lot of guys. What's the bullpen looking like for AA? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that's all you need. I mean, all right. So can we finally get through this day? Okay, and we win 1-0. Graham Ashcraft no longer injured. All right. So what a game! This is crazy. 2 hits for Kevin Newman. We win 1-0 against the Chicago Cubs. Justin Dunn goes 3 2/3 with no earned and 4 strikeouts. Great debut for the season. Daniel Norris does really good. Giebout, Souza, Sims with the win, and then Alexis Diaz with the save. That is exactly what we've needed all season long. That was perfect. That's exactly what you need. That's a great victory for us. And we get to view our draft picks here. But before we do that, we want to look at something. Ashcraft back in the starting lineup. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we can finally view our draft picks here. That was the last game we'll see of the video. Let's view our draft picks. And Marco Bautista will have a 92 potential. Not bad. I think the contact is real good. That's exactly what you wanted. The vision's good. The power is not there, but the contact is there. Discipline. He's a clutch hitter. He can't bunt. He's not a great fielder either. He can play left field and he can play multiple other positions out there. Big thing is his speed. I think there's his fielding there in his arm. You can see that right there. His speed is really good. I think the contact by Marco Bautista is something that I really like. The power, hopefully he can become a power guy. But he's going to hit right-handed pitching very well. And then left-handed pitching, he can hit it, but maybe not as good. Second pick that we had was Felipe Campaneris. He's a 60. So, by the way, Marco Bautista is 62 overall coming in. So we're not going to see him in year 1, maybe year 2, but probably not even then. Took a lot of young guys. Second guy was Felipe Campaneris that we took. He's a C potential guy with that 79 potential, 61 overall. He's a real good hitter as well, though. 69 contact and 76 contact with 76 vision. He's a very durable guy. He can play first base. That's probably where he'll play to start. Not a fast guy, but I do like Campaneris there. And that is our second pick that we got. Thomas Wolf was our third. He's a 60 overall. Yeah, I think that this was not a bad draft class. Maybe could have been a little better, but we got 3 good pitchers here. I'm interested to see what their starting overall is. Thomas Wolf is the next guy. B potential. I like that the base on balls per 9 and the control are his highest pitching attributes. That is a good thing to see. At a young age, I think this guy pitches 96. By the way, we're going to look at this. Okay. Pitches 90. We got a 96 mile per hour fastball. Does a curve, a slider, and a splitter as well. So Thomas Wolf looks pretty good. Charlie Cruz is a 63 overall, our highest overall to start, and 80 potential, which will be good for B potential. His base on balls per 9 is not good, but his control is pretty good. 94 mile per hour fastball, a cutter, and a changeup. This guy probably won't be a high level starter right away, but if we could maybe develop him an extra pitch, he could be pretty good. Ryan Galvin is the guy with the highest overall on the team with a 64 overall, 81 potential, 18 years old. This guy could probably make the big league roster before anybody else out of this draft class. 37 base on balls per 9, 43 control, though, is concerning. But he has 4 pitches. He has a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a 12-6 curve, and a changeup. Nice mix. I like that mix. He's out of the Netherlands as well. I didn't even realize that. We had Bautista, he's out of Cuba, but Ryan Galvin is out of the Netherlands. So, kind of excited to pitch with him a little bit. Then you got Giancarlo Garcia, who's not good at all. He's going to stay where he's at. And then Richie Ott has the highest overall, but that 74 potential. I think the thing was, didn't we get a relief pitcher too? Or we weren't able to take him? And I think that what it looks like here with Richie Ott, I think this guy could be a relief pitcher. Because I think that he is closer to getting to the big leagues than he's ever going to be. And I don't think that putting him at starting pitcher is going to be something that he benefits from. So I think he could be a relief pitcher. He's got the 62K per 9, which is highest among all pitchers that we drafted. So I think that he could be a good relief pitcher. Richie Ott. And then Giancarlo Garcia, you see there. Richie Galvin, I'm excited for. Charlie Cruz, I'm excited for. These are all pitchers that I think in the future could be doing good things for us. And then Felipe Campaneris is a draft pick that I would admit I think we maybe missed a little bit on him. But I think he can still be really good. That contact is really good. And then Marco Bautista, our number 1 pick. We're going to see more of him in the future. Going to have good contact, power struggles a little bit. But that is pretty much all that there is to the rest of this episode. We are second to last in the wild card race, and even over here, we're one of the worst teams in baseball right now. So can't really look at the depth chart that well, as far as compared to like our main guys. But I think that I think that we're only spending $55 million. Is kind of crazy. So our highest paid players are going to be Tyler Stevenson and Hunter Green. Trace Thompson, potentially MVP. So yeah, those are your draft picks. So we can look at other teams' draft picks. I forgot all about that. So Eldon Chappell, he was that closing pitcher. He looks like he's gonna be good. He looks pretty good. Making sure. And then Jim Mullen, he was the number 1 overall pick. Really good draft pick there. He's 70 overall to start, be an 89 potential guy. All right. Nothing there that we really ever interested in. Henry Sanchez could develop. He definitely could develop. Devin Naylor was another guy that we were kind of interested in. 94 potential is crazy. Yeah, he was good, and I think that he was a guy that we passed up on to take Thomas Wolfe instead. Andy Kane, starting pitcher, not too good. Manuel Carval, good potential, but he's not somebody that I would have liked. Antonio Estrada that took from us, he was a catcher that I was interested in. I would have liked to have somebody like him. Dodgers, they get Edgar Marquez. Jose Feliz they got as well. He's the big-time power hitter. See potential guy. Padres get Aiden Mathiasen. I really did like him a lot. So they got themselves a pretty good player. Nothing there that I was interested in. The Orioles get Richie Conrath, which, we kind of lucked out on not getting him because he's not going to get much better at all. That's pretty much it from those guys. And the Red Sox, Didn't really get anybody that we were interested in. They had a lot of picks. The Yankees. And you have the Rays here. Yeah. Ivan Diaz was an interesting prospect. Not really, wasn't on my radar. Jeff Christensen, though, was a guy who, wow, I wanted him too. And they took him very early, if I'm not mistaken. And he is very bad. Eli Almanzar is a guy that the Guardians took. Adam Bird. I think they whiffed on that draft pick. Kansas City took Takasu, and we knew that he wasn't going to be that good. The Twins took Brent Black. So Brent Black was one of my favorite prospects of the entire draft, and I think that it would have been very hard not to take him if he was available when we picked. He's really good, and he's a guy who's going to have a chance to play very early in his career. Houston Astros took Jack Wright, starting pitcher. Angels took Robert McClain. So, like, my favorite player is right here. He was my favorite player in the draft, Felipe Beltran, and it's because he's a raw hitter. He's a guy that will probably be called up very soon in his career, and he is just a very, very good pitcher. I mean, oh my gosh, he's a very good hitter. He can hit any pitching. I still think we maybe came away with the better guy, but his vision is very good as well. He's just a really good hitter. They also took Steve Ramirez, which maybe I'm thinking of another guy. Brian Hurt is a contact guy from Seattle. Ray Aaron was another pitcher that I did like, and he looks good as well. And then Ellis Patton, Jose Manzanillo. Terrence Ramirez was a pitcher that I liked, probably one of the better pitchers in the draft. They also even got Mikey Gill, a closing pitcher. Brandon Marbury here, center fielder. Some good power. Casey Lima. And Corey Finnegan was one guy that I liked as well. He looks pretty solid. We got Marco Bautista, a guy that we'll see eventually. 92 potential. One of the better players in the entire draft. We have a lot of guys that are going to take time to develop, and I'm okay with that. But Marco Bautista is pretty much going to cap it off as the guy that we focus on to end this video. I'm going to go here, save this. So the next video will be us going through the entire month of August, playing with the guys that we just traded for. So whether it be player lock, yeah, they'll all be player lock. So it'll be player lock games of the guys that we traded for. And I also want to get a game with Andrew Abbott at player lock as well. So August will be the guys we traded for and Andrew Abbott. September will be all Elly De La Cruz, and then the last video of the season will be a solo game against the St. Louis Cardinals to wrap it up. And we're about 3 episodes away from wrapping up this season and then getting started with the second season. So we made a lot of moves today. I think the draft was a success. The All-Star break was a success. But that's going to do it, though, for this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We went for about 2 hours and 50 minutes. Next one will probably be the off-season live stream. Don't know how long that's going to take until we get to that point. But I'm excited for it. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, leave a like. And we will talk about all the moves that we made in the next episode, along with taking a look at some of these prospects that we traded for. That's going to do it, everybody. See ya.